Here's a true story compressed version and infused with a thought-provoking tone, a sense of moral education, and tailored to engage a morally conscious audience and teach those who are astray. The Unseen Blessing, a journey of misjudgment and redemption. Sometimes the truth hides behind whispers of gossip, unchecked anger, or the desire to be heard. It was no different for Davy, a figure vilified by a community too quick to judge. This is the story of how one young man turned scorn into celebration, how goodwill triumphed over bitterness, and how misunderstanding became a lesson for everyone. Too often we hear only fragments of stories, fragments shaped by bias rather than truth. The Matiko family and their extraordinary turnaround through the selfless acts of a misjudged young man lay bare the dangers of jumping to conclusions. It's a narrative rich in reflection, encouraging us to hold a mirror to our own actions. Davy was branded as the biggest problem in Nyabohanse. Rumors spread like wildfire. They painted him as a destroyer of families, a disruptor of peace. But was this true? Davy's quiet resilience suggested otherwise. Instead of stooping to the level of his critics, he chose kindness. He chose action, not words. When the Matiko family found themselves at rock bottom, it was Davy who stepped in with humility and determination. For a family drowning in despair, his kindness was a lifeboat. And so, the boy so quickly mocked became the silent architect of hope and restoration. The change in the Matikos' life began subtly. Small, almost imperceptible acts of kindness from Davy brought ripples of joy. The tired, defeated faces of Mr. and Mrs. Matiko began to brighten. Their home, once the stage of discord, bloomed into a sanctuary of unity and happiness. Mrs. Matiko's transformation was striking. Those who'd once judged Davy harshly couldn't ignore the radiant smile on her face or the newfound peace in her demeanor. Her struggles seemed to dissolve, replaced by a sense of gratitude and celebration. Even Mr. Matiko experienced his own personal redemption. A place in a renowned rehabilitation center was not just an escape from his past, but a gateway to a new chapter of dignity and peace. And what of those who had been Davy's critics? The so-called lazy gang, quick to voice their disapproval but slow to act on compassion, found themselves silenced in a storm of their own making. They were embarrassed, their cruelty replaced by stunned admiration for the boy they had wrongly condemned. Their harsh words, once so loud, now seemed hollow against the evidence of Davy's selflessness. They had been eager to hate but unwilling to understand. In doing so, they became the very problem they accused Davy of being, and yet in their silence lay an opportunity, a chance for them to introspect and grow. This story challenges us to confront our own flaws. How often are we guilty of rushing to judgment, of feeding into rumors without understanding the truth? How frequently do we let personal bias blind us to acts of goodness? Davy's story reminds us that actions truly speak louder than words. While the lazy gang wasted energy on petty condemnations, Davy quietly set about making a difference. He teaches us that it's not enough to live for applause or act out of pride. We must strive to bring meaning to others' lives, even when misunderstood. When faced with similar situations, let us pause. Let us ask ourselves, do we truly know the full story? Are our judgments rooted in truth, or are they fed by assumptions? In a world hungry for balance, these questions matter more than ever. Davy's quiet heroism transformed a family and silenced his accusers. But more importantly, it left us with a poignant reminder. Compassion often rises in the most unexpected places. This is not merely a tale of redemption for the Matikos, but a lesson for all who take interest in the moral fabric of society. Misjudgment, gossip, and haste are the enemies of true progress, while humility, action, and understanding are its champions. In the end, the story of Davy and the Matiko family is more than a narrative. It's a call to action, a challenge to us all. Reflect deeply before judging. Choose goodness over petty resentment. True morality is not in words, but in the actions that lift fallen spirits and restore broken lives. Let this be our guide. This revised script elevates the moral undertone while maintaining a thought-provoking narrative flow, aiming to resonate deeply with an audience passionate about morality and ethical learning.